So
Yeah.
the wonderful Ryan O'Connell, thank you for giving me a few minutes. I've been wanting to talk to you since the special first came out a couple of years ago. So I'm excited that now that the finale is airing, we get a chance to chat. So
Yeah,
thank you
I'm
for being with me.
excited. I love Queerty.
Oh, you have outstanding taste in that
Yeah, you
case.
guys always feature me on your thought lineup or like your roundup, your thought roundup. When
Well,
like you post slutty pictures on Instagram and stuff, I feel very honored to be there with Gus Kenworthy and with all the other gays. I feel I'm in good company.
well, I was going to say we really like what you have to say and think you're fascinating as an artist, but we also like the look of you shirtless. So I mean, go with it, I say.
And I appreciate that. Please use me for my brain and my body. That's called intersectionality.
So they tell me you're already working on a new show, which is why it was sort of hard to schedule this interview. Am I allowed to ask what writer's room you're in right now?
Yeah, I'm writing for the Queer Spoke reboot.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I think it's gonna be good. I'm excited.
I can't wait to see it. This season, I have to say, first of all, that the half-hour format, I just respond to the characters and the story on a much, much deeper level this time, and I know that was something you really pushed for. One storyline that I really identified with was the Tanner Ryan storyline about open relationships. I've known people, both gay and straight open relationships where somebody falls for somebody else, and of course that blows everything up. I'm wondering though, why was that such an important story for you to tell this season?
Well, yeah, that was my major point for wanting longer episodes was like kind of I just felt creatively very blue-balled in the short form content. Like
Yeah.
I just felt like moments couldn't really like breathe. I felt like I was always just like jumping to the next thing. And I think in a certain way it made it more of like an addictive binge because there was never a dull moment. But I feel like it felt like an appetizer and I was waiting for the main course. And I feel like season two is very much the main course. I think it's just deeper.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, it's like, I'm very proud of the work we did in season one, but I feel like we didn't have the budget or the resources to really take it where I wanted to go. And I think season two, I just feel like it's my fully realized vision.
That's fantastic. And I really responded to, well, everybody's stories this time out, Kim, Karen, and particularly Ryan's story with Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you a little bit about that because, I've known couples in open relationships, both gay and straight, who will fall in love with someone else. It's all fun and games until someone falls for someone else, and then the whole thing just kind of explodes, right? I'm wondering, why was that an important story for you to tell this season? Where did that come from for you?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting to show Ryan's growth in terms of his own self worth. I
Yeah.
think that when we meet him at the top of season two, he's just lucky to have any kind of sexual scraps he can get. So if Tanner can see him only Tuesdays and Wednesdays, by golly, he'll be there with bells on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really wanted to kind of showcase him developing a sense of agency and really kind of sticking up for himself and no longer being in that place of just like, wow, a boy wants to have sex with me? Oh my God. Oh, it's my lucky day. And I think we kind of, and I think with Tanner, there's so many caveats in terms of like what kind of relationship he can have. And not only are they just not right for each other as people, because when Tanner does come back and say, I want to be with you full time, Ryan obviously accepts it, but I just think he knows they're not a good fit. And I think as a disabled person, like I never felt like I would have a boyfriend. And if I did, I should be able to just settle for anyone because I was just, again, so profoundly lucky to get any chick at all. And I think Ryan has that mentality, but he really grows out of it.
Another issue that comes up this season quite a bit is disability fetishism. And that's not just sexual fetishism, that's like sort of social fetishism, looking at disabled people with this incredible condescension as these sort of magical unicorns that, oh, aren't they so inspiring and aren't they so cute? That's very hard to watch. I guess looking at it, my biggest question was, how do we best support disabled people? I mean, what do you want people to take away from that?
I don't think I was really hyper aware of the microaggressions I was experiencing on the daily as a disabled person. I think it was so normalized for me. Like I think I just don't know any other existence. So like having strangers come up to me at the gym and like wish me luck on the treadmill and having Uber drivers ask me what's wrong with me. These were all sort of just like this was sewn into the fabric of my daily life in a way that I just didn't even question it. I remember going into an Uber with my boyfriend a few years ago, and the Uber driver just point blank asking me what's wrong with you, like immediately, and and I didn't even flinch because it wasn't my first time at the rodeo, baby. But Jonathan, my boyfriend, was so horrified that anyone would be that abrupt. I find people's attitudes around disability, they kind of oscillate wildly. They can go from being very abrupt and offensive, aka what's wrong with you,
Right.
or they can be a little bit so uncomfortable that they don't even know how to talk to you at all. And that kind of like lends itself to inspiration porn. So it's very much like the Goldilocks of like wanting to find the right societal attitude.
Right.
But it's really not that complicated. Like just treat disabled people as humans, and also if they need help, they'll ask for it. Like, trust that.
How has the attention paid to the show and to you, particularly as the face of the show and having your name on it, how has that changed the way you're viewed in the business?
I would say it's like 8% easier. I think it's always good when someone has a point of reference for your work. So like no one's meeting me cold. Like I'm not starting from square one and tap dancing for my dinner.
Right.
Like people know my show, they've seen it or whatever. So they understand what I can do as a writer, as an actor or whatever. But I feel like whenever you're in Hollywood and you're trying to make shows that don't star like lovable straight white male narcissists living in Venice, it's always an uphill battle. And so like I just want to make really queer shit for queer people, and I don't give a shit like what someone named Tom, some exec named Tom who lives in Redondo Beach who's like 56 and like doesn't get me. I don't care about that. And so I think whenever you have that point of view and that desire to make content that's not usually seen, well, guess what? It's not usually seen for a reason. It's because the Toms of the world are keeping us out. They're the gatekeepers. So I think it's gotten a little bit easier in terms of I have a name, people know who I am. But again, unless I completely sell out and, you know, I sell a show to CBS about a horse that solves murder mysteries,
I'd watch.
I think it's never going to be totally easy for me.
So last question, because it's Friday night and I'm sure you have better things to do. I'm just wondering, you know, pandemic allowing, how are you and Jonathan going to spend Pride this year?
We really have no plans. I mean, I'll be working on Queer Spoke, which is basically like, the Pride Festival in itself. You know,
Yeah.
I basically get paid to talk about like, anal sex and lube and other, pressing gay matters. But yeah, we have no plans. We're going to Provincetown in August, which we're super excited about. We go every summer, but we didn't get to go summer, obviously, because there was a, wait for it, pandemic that is still happening. But hopefully it'll be more chill. So I'm gonna just like live my gay truth in Provincetown. That'll be my Pride month. We'll be in August.
That's awesome. I love Provincetown. I can't wait to get back there either. It's been more than a year for me, so
it's utopia. And if this is the longest I've been away from it, probably since I went for the first time, like in 2009.
Yeah.
And it feels like I feel physically ill. Like I'm missing, like I miss the place so deeply. I've never loved a place like I love Provincetown. It truly does feel like utopia to me.
That's awesome. Ryan O'Connell, you're wonderful. Please keep working. I can't wait to see your work on Queer as Folk, and congratulations on Wrapping Special. It's a very special show, to borrow a phrase.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.